So we're back to our book of belonging, and today I am going to be reading the story of Moses. Again, we're going to continue. Remember, Moses was the baby that was born last time when you saw Cliff reading, and it's our summer series for devotion, so we get to be outside and enjoying the beauty of God's creation. So chapter 8, the people God goes with. Moses ambled along through the low shrubs and tumbling rocks, following his flock and listening to the mountain wind yawn. Wandering left him plenty of time alone with his thoughts. Who am I? Am I Egyptian? Am I Hebrew? Am I enslaved? Am I an enslaver? Does it even matter? He was a long way from home. This made him feel free, but also very much alone and unnamed. Born to a Hebrew mother, raised in the Egyptian palace, hiding out in the country after getting into trouble with both groups, Moses found himself in a lonely and deserted place. As he glanced to his left, Moses noticed something strange in the distance. A lone bush, completely aflame. As he approached, a voice from the bush, as warm and commanding as the purr of a great lion. Moses, Moses. Here I am, replied Moses, awestruck. I'm the God your ancestors knew, the voice continued. It's time we met as well. I've heard the groans of my people in Egypt. I see how they suffer. I've come to rescue them and lead them back to the promised land. And I'm sending you to Pharaoh to bring them there from Egypt. Moses sputtered, wide-eyed. Me? Why would you choose me, of all people, for such a task? And the mysterious voice seemed to smile as it responded, I am with you. That's not what I asked, Moses thought. He narrowed his eyes and whispered, Who are you? I am who I am, came the puzzling reply. You'll see what and who I am by how I act. God's voice resembled a warm wind, soothing yet adventuresome. I love you because I am love. I save you because I am safe. I comfort you because I am comfort. I am with you because I am here. You're asking me to speak to the people of Israel, but haven't you noticed that I stutter? Moses protested. Sometimes his mouth had trouble forming words. Sometimes they felt stuck behind his tongue, and all he could do was make noise. Who do you think made your mouth, Moses? It was me. Whether or not you think it works well, I'll be with you. I'll be your mouth. Moses begged God to send someone else, and even though God believed in Moses more than Moses did, God offered to send his brother Aaron with him to help him speak. I'll be with you, and I'll be with Aaron. Pharaoh has terrorized my people far too long, and though he is treated as a god among the many gods of Egypt, he's just a man, a cruel man, a bully. But I am bigger than any bully. And soon everyone will see that. I will show them through many wonders. Moses traveled all the way back to Egypt and told the family of God, God hears you, sees you, and wants to rescue you and be close to you. And the people believed him and trusted God. We are not alone. God has come to rescue us. But just as God warned, Pharaoh clung to his power. He wasn't willing to give up the enslaved people, the key to his power machine. But God displayed how God was bigger than Pharaoh and all his gods by sending many wonders and troubles, bugs and frogs and boils and hail until everyone stood in awe of the power of God's love. Finally, Pharaoh said, Enough. Take your people and your flocks and your herds and be gone. Go and be with your God. And so God's people, enslaved for more than 400 years, stood and followed God out of that land of heartache and horror They shook off the names that Pharaoh had called them: slave, forgotten, throwaway, and instead trusted in a new name: the people God goes with. And then we continue into like part B of this chapter, which is called A Path to Freedom. Trapped. There was no way around it. Pharaoh had changed his mind, chasing after God's people. And now, with a great shimmering sea to their front and a pack of angry Pharaoh soldiers fast approaching from behind, God's people were trapped, stuck, doomed. Babies wailed and old men grumbled as everyone turned their frightened eyes to Moses. What now? Be calm. God will make a way, Moses assured them. Hello, God. Will you make a way? Lift up your staff and stretch your hand over the water, God told Moses. Moses looked down at the shepherd's staff that he had chosen over Pharaoh's crook. God had asked him to stand for life and flourishing instead of power. God had promised to go with him. It all came down to this: a shepherd against a Pharaoh. God against Egypt. Staff versus crook. Flourishing versus power. As Moses lifted the staff, a mighty wind blew, and the waters rolled back, splashing and piling into walls on either side. A path appeared, a way through the water. Tiptoeing, dust kicking, jaws dropping, God's people crossed the mighty sea on dry land. And as soon as the last foot climbed the opposite bank, the waters folded back in with a crash. The chase was over. Pharaoh had lost. God's people were free. And that is the end of our chapter. I'll see you next week for our summer devotions.